It has been a long road, almost, well, in real lifetime, about a year and a half. It's crazy to think that this has actually gone this far, this fast, considering how many delays there have been along the way, and you can probably hear evidence of one of them in my voice already. Episode 100 here in the challenge series, which, admittedly, with the whole week's seasons format, doesn't feel like as much of a milestone as 96 did, in an ironic way. But, yeah, the big 3 digits, and this episode will be a bit different from the usual. Only 3 races, but they'll be 15 minutes apiece. Definitely going to be putting the jump cuts to use today, especially because, as you can hear, my voice is very hoarse because I have a cold, thanks to my mother. But it doesn't hurt or anything, and I'm not sniffling too badly, so I figure if I'm ever going to get a chance to record any point this week, it is going to be right now. Before it starts to hurt, or before I'm blowing my nose every 20 seconds, or what have you. So, yeah, race 1 of the episode here from the, well, in-universe, newly built Sardinia road track. A project financed and just in every way caused by the O'Hara Group, an associated sponsor of the Challenge Series. They built their own circuit, and as part of the sponsorship clause, we got a bonus for it too, but we have to race here. So, I mean, it's a new track, right? Now, this is well, I should say it's a new track. It's not. It's a remodeled, re-layout, or new layout. The old layout still exists. This is a new layout of the track, built by, or like funded by that group. Not built literally by them. Anyway, let's just, forget everything else. Let's just get into the first. And we are green for the first race of episode 100 here in the challenge series. And, well, there's something that's brand new, sort of. I've owned this vehicle for a while. This is the first time I've raced it in the challenge series. No, that is me in that purple Mitsubishi GTO. Don't worry, even though this is racing 640, my 300DX isn't destroyed or anything, believe it or not. But it wasn't performing that great, and I figured, I had this sitting around along other things, so I may as well put it to use here. I forgot about that, because I changed the way that my controls are set up in driving. I can no longer rotate the camera with the right analog stick. So that's awkward. There are some other new things in the race. Actually, they're both running too wide into this hairpin here. A new car for an existing driver and an entirely new driver. Making the overtake is Maki in her new Ferrari Dino 246. This is really awkward. I can't show off the car with the camera. Yeah, there it is. There's probably the best shot we're gonna get of it. And then now, having just been passed by Axel Valentine, is Ruby Kurosawa. No relation to Toshinobu Kurosawa, the S14 driver in the class above this one. Is instead related, well, tangentially rather than by blood, to the other members of Aqua, to Chica and to Yo. Another friend of theirs, basically. Competed with them at Love Live. We all know this story by now. There's me getting ahead of Ruby as I bring it up into 7th place for myself. At the moment, Noir is controlling the race relatively comfortably, about a second or so ahead of Derek De La Cruz, but that gap is decreasing little by little. The Corvette doesn't have the same straight line performance, but all of that air on that car is helping Derek get a lot closer in all of the turns here at the new layout of Sardinia. Umi is trying to hold off Derek's own teammate, Keith Kilgore, and Maki is being chased by another muscle car in the form of Axel Valentine. And I'm catching this entire group of people pretty quickly. Now you can see the inroads with a few high-speed turns to make. Derek has closed in on that Super B rapidly. Now he's all over her back bumper. However, getting by may be difficult considering the power difference between the two. He cannot corner the Super B all day long, but he can't outrun it in a straight line. He is breaking even with it though, which surprises me. Well, I think Noir moved in the braking zone a bit there, and that is big contact and damage to both cars, so a critical failure for the two leaders. That's going to set them both back pretty much out of contention once they get back around. We have a 3-wide battle for 5th. Maki kind of accidentally set up a screen for me basically, and I just got 2 for the price of 1. And 4-wheel drive exit speed will get me away from them with no issues, really. I go up the inside of Keith Kilgore. Slipstream Manifest got me somewhere, but not far enough. As Maki gets ahead of Axel Valentine, definitively this time around. Ruby is very much falling down the order, under threat now from Kotori and from Cam. The teams are definitely playing a big role in this race. Chica, I think, got caught out with damage early in the race and just hasn't recovered. So at this point, I moved to 3rd. Umi basically let me by out of, like, on that previous straightaway. Because I obviously had a lot more speed than her, and I was able to, you know, well, we figured out, I think she figured I was going to be able to catch up to the two leaders without that pit stop, but since they smacked into one another earlier, that just makes it a lot easier for me to take the lead with literally no resistance. So now we make it a Mercury 1-2-4, and Miss Nishikino is intent on making it a 1-2-3, so she can get the move done on the Miller Camaro. She's in a muscle car sandwich. In spite of being a Ferrari, that Dino is going to be more powerful in the corners, especially when compared to 2 muscle cars. This track is a pretty even divide of straightaways and turns. You have 2 decently long straightaways in the form of the front stretch and the back stretch, which we just turned on to now. But we got corners of all different speeds here. Mostly. There's 3 different hairpins, but still. I think Axel thought about going for a look, but the Dino can brake later than the Mach 1 can, so there was no chance. Keith is going to have a look at Umi, though. Down the inside goes that Camaro. Just about leaving space, or the 2 of them are. Maki kind of likes to see this, actually. She's going to take a peek at her own teammate there. She'll wisely back out of that one. We saw what happened over the weekend when Mercury and DPT did a joint test session here. Axel is going to take full advantage of Umi's limited exit speed. Just ahead of her. They're going to go 3 wide in turn 1. A bit of argy-bargy, as it's kind of unavoidable when you decide to do that. Umi has probably a little confidence since she's, you know, as I was just saying, we tested here. perks of the track, the layout being constructed by the group that our Alliance teammate is sponsored by. Since the O'Hara Group sponsors DPT, Diamond Pleiades Technica, and they are in an alliance with Mercury, we get most of the benefits they do. And that meant first dibs at the new layout of the circuit before anybody else got it. So us Mercury drivers and DPT drivers are the only ones with track time before the green flag flew for this one. Clearly I'm putting it to good use, but clearly Keith Kilgore didn't need it. Nor did Axel, for that matter. We're here looking at basically a battle between the bottom 3 cars to have not taken damage during the race. 2 Scorchers cars in the form of Burt Wheeler and Tony Berry versus Cam and the Audi TT. Ellie, I think, is the one... Actually, no, she might be the... No, her and Ruby have not been damaged in this race. I don't know, actually. No, I think it's just that Derek is so fast that he's picking his way through the cars that did get damaged during the race. He's so fast, he's picking his way through cars that didn't get damaged during this race so far. The damage should have set him back to about 17th or so, and he's already looking to get back to the top 10 with a move on Ellie. And he's gonna fish for it right here. It's not gonna work. The Porsche still has cornering grip, and it's lighter than that Corvette, even if it doesn't have the same aero package. The 2 Mercury drivers in this battle have since lost out the straight line speed of the 2 muscle cars in the picture. A little too much for them to handle, as it would seem, but suffice to say, I'm definitely controlling this race from the front, even if I don't have the fastest lap on the racetrack by any means. Especially when this happens, Axel decides to get a little racy for second, meanwhile Umi and Maki do the same for fourth. Axel will back out, but Maki will not, and Umi will be the one conceding, because this is not a turn you go too wide into if you've got any sense left in you. I could barely get through it 1 wide. Axel will go too wide into the final hairpin, but once again be thwarted on exit by Kilgore. Keith Kilgore definitely knows how to put the pedal down, even in an old Camaro like this, and not lose traction. But that's only going to get him so far. Axel Valentine gets alongside for like the 4th different time as we begin the 7th lap of the race. And finally, Axel Valentine finishes that pass. Maki is going to take full advantage. She's going to go down the inside of the Camaro herself, but it's the same story. Keith is just somehow able to find traction on corner exit that doesn't seem like it should be there. Bit of a dull roar for a while, but De La Cruz is continuing his crusade back up the leaderboard. On a theoretical basis, I think if this race went like 25 minutes, or even 20, actually no, probably it'd have to be a 25-minute race, or 30. De La Cruz is still absolutely the fastest car in this racetrack. If he didn't run into the back of Noir, like Klutz, he probably would still be in the lead of this race. I don't even know if I'd have the pace to compete with this guy. Even in saying that, Axel does run the fastest lap of the race. But then again, Keith is also stuck in traffic as he gets ahead of Burt Wheeler while I move the camera away. Maki is still riding on the coattails of Keith Kilgore, but he doesn't have the horsepower to do anything with that. And in spite of Axel's very impressive lap time, I'm still about 3 or 4 seconds up the road. So, as looking at the race timer with 30 seconds to go, we were about to begin the final lap from Sardinia. And I need to put my nose as soon as the race is over. You can probably hear that. It's going to be the final lap, but it's only going to be a lap for the top 4. Not even Umi is close enough anymore. She's actually fallen back into this pack full of everybody else. And Derek has a chance at a top 5 in spite of damaging himself on the back of Noir's car. But he would if the race didn't end here. So it is at least a Mercury like triple top 5. That Mach 1 is so rapid on the straight. The Camaro of Kilgore just doesn't have anything to offer that. He has his quarter exits now down. It doesn't matter because Axel just puts it in 4th gear and just flies away. But, while the two muscle cars are at war, the Mitsubishi GTO has taken full advantage. All the extra track time from testing might have helped, but almost as if I scripted it or something, I swear I didn't, I will take the victory at the newly established Sardinia A layout. To begin, complete the first third of episode 100. Axel and Keith Kilgore round out the podium, a 1-4-5-6 for Mercury Racing, all counted for. And that will do it. So Derek, with the recovery drive that we really don't see too often, gets himself to 7th place. Probably could have been more. He probably could have gotten ahead of Umi and Kotori if there were another lap. If they had crossed the line just 5 seconds earlier. It was a mess of a battle for basically, like, 5th on down. These 6 were all on a train. Ruby with kind of an underwhelming debut. 12th place. But she's also very new to this, so it doesn't necessarily surprise me that she's kind of struggling a bit. The fact she avoided even damaging the car, as somebody who still has that weird, like, learner driver symbol on her rear window, is surprising in its own right. But with that said, we will head into race 2 of the episode. Full disclosure, this race pissed me off. Pissed a lot of people off. Not just me, but it definitely pissed me off. Not the way to intro the second race of the episode, especially for one of an episode like, you know, the milestone of 100. But, grrr, anger Riker noises. Angered. Race 2 is another 15-minute race here at Grand Valley Highway. This time, though, with the 675 class rather than 640. Spoiler alert, third race will be in the 715 class. They're the 3 biggest categories, so it seems only right that the 3 races in this episode are of those classes. And there's an interesting detail I think I noticed while these cameras were flying around. We're not going to get to see it, though, but I think you can actually see the player's car sitting in the infield here. I'm actually going to cut the recording and see if I can see that shot. I waited for like 2 minutes, didn't show up again, but I could swear I saw it when I was in the race screen waiting for the menu to go away. Anyway, race. Yes, that is the thing we are doing. We are on board with Ryusei Takahata in his frickin' plastic Dixie cup looking ass R32. Yeah, he already made a little bit of contact with Kotori there. I think he just saw the dust fly up. And more contact. And gets into the side of Nico. Yeah, all this Mercury drivers started in the back here. And of course all of us are in, like, rear-wheel drive shit, so... He tries turning me there, doesn't work. Kind of puts me in the wall. Tries turning me there, doesn't work. Gives Kotori another slam. Yeah, if you're like one of those sticklers for driving sportsmanship, I would just skip ahead. Because this is hard to watch if you're one of those type of people. there are debuting vehicles, and we have to pause to cover them. If I look away from this fuckwit for more than 8 seconds, he's probably gonna go and commit a homicide. But we have, like, 4 new drivers in this race, or something like that. We have, Michael Knobloch, I believe is how you say that. Or Knobloch, Knobloch. I actually think it's Knobloch. You'd think I'd know, I'm like part German. But, he has a Ferrari 512. He was a motorsports driver, but he was just best known for, bending the rules a little bit. Get out of the tunnel for better lighting to see the other cars. We have the Irish Terran Booth in a Maserati Gran Turismo, and the Danish Jonas Thomsen in an Alfa Romeo 8C. We also have, following his DNF at the Catalonia round in the last episode, his bacon was saved by one Donnie Anderson, and now he's given a ride on the Nitro Nights driving a 2016 Camaro. I believe the concept was, with the promise that was shown in that race, Donnie couldn't just let this guy get total out of the series by something that pathetic. So he gave him a new car. At the current moment, Alice Marguerite is currently running for her life against the incoming C3 Corvette of Barbara Page. And I don't even know what to say about this guy, so... He tries to run him in the sand, he tries a second time, still doesn't work, he nearly crashes into the bridge. Like, a bit of a brake test is kind of like a hey, screw off maneuver. He doesn't like that, I'm sure. The most pathetic attempt at a hip check I've ever seen. He tries to turn me in the exit here, doesn't work, actually gets tagged by Michael Knobloch, and he dies. Not literally, but it is funny knowing Michael Knobloch's own past, that he's the one that actually wrecks this guy, because he's kind of a bit of an antagonist himself. It is past, he was a privateer team customer of Ferrari, running in mostly GT-based series, like the Ferrari Challenge and stuff. But he liked to, cheat, the kind of thing you do, to get a slight advantage. Bend the rules. He was like a junior, like a smoky unit, that's what he was. Or, like 2000s or Kendrick, or like any of those other big race teams that try to get little tiny rule discrepancies to go their way. Michael was definitely in that camp, and he earned a very negative reputation for it. Meanwhile, Ryusei is back in the pack of cars. And then Terran Booth and Jonas Thomsen are previous drivers of Knobloch's team. No, I say previous. Considering all of the fines and penalties they racked up while driving for his team, because of those different infractions, they kind of have a bit of a festering hatred towards him. Because Knobloch was only the team's driver for 1 year, so... Gives Nico a bump, gives her a shove. Nico saves it. He tries to take another shot at her, whiffs. Tries to take another, whiffs. If you're gonna dedicate yourself to wrecking people, you'd think you'd at least be good at wrecking people, but he's not even that. Miss. Tries to spin her on the bridge, fails, nearly crashes himself out, actually. Tries to hit her in the tunnel, barely does anything, pushes her away, doesn't spin her though. Tries again, fails, hits the inside wall, more contact, still nothing. And then he eventually just gets tired of trying to wreck Nico and just drives by and, you know, does some racing. Fucking fathom that. We catch back up here as he's caught up to the back of me and Michael fighting for 12th place. I feel bad for him having to debut into this mess, because even though he himself has a bad reputation, this doesn't leave a great first impression on a guy, no matter who they are. We're 3 wide, he's still trying to wreck me, by the way. I just let him go, I don't even care, but he's so bad at making this turn that I get back ahead of him even at half throttle anyway. That or he's trying to let me go, wouldn't even surprise me if he was. Couldn't really tell, it's hard to tell when he's letting somebody by or if he's just that bad, because he's bad. But he gives me a tap. This unironically helps me. It gives me momentum, and I get ahead of Michael Noblack for even a half second, which is kind of funny. He's done as much good to me as he has done hurt. He forgets turning for the tunnel here. I cross him over because he's fucking garbage. I cut him off, he's not pleased. Brake test. He beeps at me. Takes a shot. Bounces off. And I say fuck you. See you later. Die. And the race is red flag there. Basically. So, yeah, Alice dominated this race. There's absolutely no denying that. I'm not really sure what she did, but she did it. So she'll be getting the win here. Barbara's second. Good debut for Booth and Thompson, who get 3-4 in this event. I don't think they started there. I think they started like 7-8 or 6-8, somewhere around there. And they made their way one of them made their way into the podium in this first race. So Mel Black, really, he couldn't get anywhere, and it wasn't necessarily his fault either. He was stuck in this bullshit with me and Mercury and this guy. So, you know, how that goes. But, yeah, that about does it for that. I don't really have anything else to say on any of this bullshit. And the final race of the episode takes us to Autopolis for the aforementioned 715 class race. But, there are quite a few new cars in this one. Also, the race is actually starting grids arranged in a team-based order of sorts. Lots of teams of 4 here. The only 2 that aren't are a team of 2, the C1 Racing Project of Kuro and Sasaki. Then we've got... Actually, no, the team of 3, I'm stupid. Or not, actually, no. So, then we have Pacific Spirit Racing with Brian Ice, Dom Briscoe, and Mika Harris. We'll get to them in a second. And we have all of JSR with Jake, Fidel, Sophia Meyer, and Matthew Stotts. 3 members from Scuderia Fidanzi, and 3 members from Demon Sports. So we are therefore on board with Logan Cool. But the debuting cars in this race are, well, this is debuting, but it's not with them, basically. They're on a team. I don't actually know what the team name is. They said they're going to think of it later. But I'm just going to call it the I'm just gonna call the team Azure Lane for the moment because that's the only logo that's common between all 4 cars. I really should have changed the darn controls so I could spin the camera around, but oh well. We'll get to them in a second, but, let's actually start the race. The race has started. Yes, that is how this works. Dom gets off the line incredibly well. Actually, both Lamborghinis do. DePrisco has to slide his way through turn 1 to make the corner, but he just about does. So, just like that, the 2 C1 Racing Project cars are absolutely demolished off the line. Yeah, Pacific Spirit's definitely controlling the race start here. Ice getting a little bit away from DePrisco. Sasaki got his way back to 4th. Mika Harris kind of got lost on the race start in comparison to her teammates. She's actually getting swallowed up by these Azure Lane drivers, really. Going through those, individually we have Yuki Ayanami in an MSX. Elizabeth Unicorn, her and somebody else in this group definitely flexing the option to use a fake last name or a nickname as the last name. Zari Lufton in the Porsche. And Allison Hornet in a ACR Dodge Viper make up this new Azure Lane themed-ish team. And then, I guess this is someone who's vaguely related, I guess, Vittorio Veneto and a Ferrari F430, who nearly spins at turn 1. Also being chased by another F430, who herself is being overtaken by Logan Cool. A lot of cars had to make a pit stop on the first lap for damage. Looks like everybody from 14th back, or 13th back did. Yeah, I don't know why you did that, Lifton. You took the rear wing off the Porsche, and now the thing is naturally going to be a little unstable. Don't know why you didn't see that coming. Logan Cool will try to sweep around the outside of Veneto here in these slow-speed S's. He'll just about get his Camaro there, and that puts him into 8th place. Kind of move you don't really expect to see a muscle car make through tight turns like those, but here we are. Veneto's going to come back at him though. The F430 rapid in a straight line, but they're going to concede the position and just back out before we even hit the brakes. Mika Harris peeked down the inside of the McLaren, nothing doing. And Logan Cool will take advantage of the fact that she compromised her own mind to make that to look at that pass into 7th for the Abrams Camaro, as Logan has so commonly referred to it, due to the literal metal armor as he gets into the back of Elizabeth Unicorn a little bit, but that actually damages her car. Yikes. I guess that's why you don't put steel plate on the front of the car. It makes it very easy to damage something when you rear-end it. No obvious damage to Logan's own vehicle though, which honestly just probably sours the whole thing even more. Out-drags the NSX with ease. Into the top 5 goes the Camaro. Trying to find some way around Sasaki. I keep forgetting to start talking because I've got a really old song I've not listened to in forever. stuck in my head. I keep zoning out because of it. Spruce is still definitely in control by the hands of Bright Ice. He's got, like, probably a 2 or 3 second lead over his own teammate. Logan is cutting down the distance between himself and Kuro rapidly after getting Sasaki into T1. Around the outside of the S15, that's a bold call. He finds some traction on exit somehow. I don't know how he made that work, but he did. Seriously, how did this thing grip up there? That doesn't make any sense. This is a Camaro. A Camaro with no rear wing, no less. That thing shouldn't have traction there. But here we are, waiting for the moment. He has found the moment. He is down the inside of the event door. And he is clear with some ease. Just like that, he finds himself right in the back of Ice. We're not even halfway through the race yet, so... tries to sneak on the outside. Ice knows his race crap, but it doesn't matter. With a bit of small contact made, Logan will slide his way into the lead. And he'll just look to control the race for the second half, the same way that Ice did the first half. Francesca Ferranzi, alongside the NSX, has a much better run out of the last turn. The NSX is massively sideways, so not only Francesca get by, but Mika Harris do the same, and Veneto might as well. Yes, she will. That is a she in there, although the name sounds kind of masculine, it's not. Meanwhile, two teammates fighting. Really basically three. Matthew Stock's trying to keep all these Azure Lane drivers behind, but it's not working. Lilton tries the outside of the sweepers, so that's the inside for the hairpin. That just isn't enough. Stays alongside, but on the outside of this long left-hander, I don't know if that's going to work, especially with the limited grip that this wingless Porsche has. She's still there. I'm not sure how she's pulled that off either. Her teammate Hornet's going to follow her through ahead of the Super Driver as well. Oh, and then big collision. Unicorn gets right into the back of the Super Driver. Insult to injury for Matthew Stotts. Ferranzi is on the warpath at the moment. She's around the outside of Sasaki. That becomes the inside. She's probably going to have the better exit. Mika Harris is in the mix as well. This is going to be chaos into turn one. Who's going to be where? Veneto is going to be the one down the inside of Sasaki. Tags the back of Francesca, but no damage dealt to either F430. But the Ferraris definitely won in that encounter, to say the least. And Ayanami definitely lost. This has been an absolutely horrid debut for all four of these Azure Lane drivers. At this point, the name might just stick. Maybe that is their sponsor or something, I'm not sure. Looking at could be the penultimate lap of the race. I don't think it will be, though. I think the lead few are going to start a third lap after this. I think we're going to get a ninth lap. They're continuing her charge. You see the lap time there. She's setting the track on fire at the moment. And soon Dom DePrisco will be under threat from another Italian race car, I figure. Ice might be just about safe. And I think Logan has this if he keeps the car on the road, so... Ice doesn't seem to have anything to hit. Anything to offer to challenge that Camaro yet. It's been a very strong debut for Vittorio Veneto. Although all the other debuting drivers have had very mediocre at best races, she has found her way from 10th or so to 5th, I believe. Showing pace similar to that of the veteran Francesca in the same exact type of car, in the form of the F430. And this lap's actually been way better for her as well, compared to the one of the F430 up ahead. Even though the last lap of hers was almost 2 seconds slower, this one she's closed it all the way back up, just about. I don't know what this lap's gonna be. Yeah, gained all 2 of those seconds back and plus. Well, Sasaki and Harris got together. So that knocks them out of contention. Let's have a 3-way battle for the podium as we start the penultimate lap here. Dom keep the 2 F430s away. This is basically going to turn into a game of acceleration versus cornering speed. The Aventador is going to have the drive off of every turn, but Francesca just has the lighter car with better cornering, so if she can get a good run out of a corner regardless of 4-wheel drive, Dom's goose is cooked. Oh, this will be interesting. The race is going to be over for at least one of these 3 cars. Logan and Brian will start the next lap. Dom will start the lap. As for Francesca, okay, so the top 5 will get 1 more lap. But Setsuko's race is over. She places 6th. I think Francesca just locked the brakes down heading to turn 1, trying to I don't know if she was trying to gain time on DeFrisco or if she was trying to avoid hitting him. Veneto is all over her back bumper now, after whatever happened. Worth pointing out, Allison Hornet won the race amongst cars that took damage during the race. That's her P8. Meanwhile, her teammate Ayanami, the highest finishing driver on this team, 7th, the lowest running car that didn't take damage during the race. Also worth noting that we do have a lot of other new registrations. A lot more drivers that will probably be debuting in episode 101, but couldn't be accommodated for in this episode. It's due to the fact there were fewer races in the episode and no roulette race. Veneto has fallen off the back of these 2, but these 2 have caught up to the back of Brian Ice, who may have made either a rare mistake or maybe DePrisco just really put it in gear to try and get away from Francesca. Either way, it is a commanding W. Once Logan Cool took the lead, he held on to it for basically 10 whole minutes. The NASCAR will grab the win from Autopolis, the tank-armored NASCAR. Brian Ice and Dom DePrisco will cross for a Pacific Spirit 2-3. Vittorio Veneto with the ultimate debut, finishing in top 5. And the rest of the debuting drivers really didn't have the same luck. 7, 8, 11, and 19 for all the other 4. But that has been episode 100. My throat has about had enough of my shit now, so, ow. Case in point. I will cut things here a little earlier to save it. Goodbye.